Challenge. Asking the questions, Amol Rajan.
Hello and welcome to University Challenge. We're about halfway through round one of this year's competition, and joining us tonight are teams from two of the wave of universities created in the 1960s, a period when the number of universities in the UK more than doubled. Tonight they just need to win to secure their place in round two, but if they can't manage that, then a score in the region of 160 points will at least keep them in sight of the repechage. The University of East Anglia, or UEA, is one of the plate glass generation of universities established from scratch in the 1960s to meet growing demand for higher education. Its main campus was built on a converted golf course to designs by Dennis Lasdon, and his ziggurat-style accommodation complex is a significant example of British brutalism. UEA is also the home of the UK's oldest creative writing degree, whose alumni include Anne Enright, Naomi Alderman and Kazuo Ishiguro. Tonight's team are representing around 18,000 students and have an average age of 25. Let's meet them.
Hi, I'm Melissa Sheress. I'm from London and I'm doing a PhD on Pacific Collections in National Museum Scotland.
Hi, I'm Bryony Yates. I'm originally from Wolverhampton and I'm doing a PhD in plant biology.
And their captain?
Hi, I'm Owen Tobin. I'm originally from Nottingham and I'm studying medicine.
Hi, I'm Matthew Jennings. I'm from Kings Lynn and I'm studying philosophy.
Strathclyde had to wait until 1964 to gain university status, having been founded in 1796 at the behest of Glasgow professor John Anderson, who wanted to create a second university in the city specialising in what he called useful learning, in other words, applied science. The modern university has a broader definition of useful, but science and especially engineering are still particular strengths, and notable alumni include the Paralympian Eileen McGlynn, the video game designer Chris Sawyer and the BBC's first Director General, John Reith. Playing on behalf of around 24,000 students and also with an average age of 25, let's meet this year's team from Strathclyde.
Hi, I'm Nina Reid. I'm from Worcestershire and I'm studying forensic and analytical chemistry.
Hi, I'm Gregor McDowell. I'm from the Black Isle in Rossshire and I'm studying aeromechanical engineering.
And their captain?
Hi, my name's Stephen Gall. I'm from Glasgow and I'm studying for a Masters in Educational Leadership.
Hi, my name is Pris Hills. I'm from Duniolan in Gwynedd and I study mechanical engineering.
The basic rules have been the same for nearly 30 years. Starter questions are open to all 8 of you, but you have to answer individually and on the buzzer. Get one right and you earn your team 10 points and a set of 3 bonus questions on which you can confer. Fingers on buzzers then. Here's your first starter for 10. Named after a historical kingdom situated along its lower course, which river with its tributaries forms Africa's largest network of navigable...
UEA Sheress.
The Niger River?
No, and I'm afraid you lose 5 points. Largest network of navigable waterways and has several cataracts, including the Inga Falls and Livingston Falls. A lake-like expansion of the river, known as the Malabo Pool, is the location of the cities of Brazzaville and Kinshasa.
Strathclyde McDowell.
The Congo?
It is the Congo, yes. Your bonus questions then, Strathclyde, are on art galleries. A gallery named after which American art collector is situated in her former home in Venice's Palazzo Venier dei Leoni?
I don't know this one. Female.
I think very female American artists. No. Pass.
It's Peggy Guggenheim. Oh. The Solomon R. Guggenheim Gallery in New York, named after Peggy's uncle, is housed in a building designed by which modernist American architect?
Is this Frank Lloyd Wright?
Yes.
Frank Lloyd Wright.
It is Frank Lloyd Wright. Finally, the Guggenheim Gallery in Bilbao was designed by which Canadian-American architect born in 1929?
I can't remember his name. Any ideas?
No, Spencer.
Pass.
It's going to really annoy you, isn't it? It's Frank Gehry. Another starter question now. An occasionally employed accountant, a postal worker, a former baseball player for the Boston Red Sox, and a psychiatrist who later became a radio psychotherapist are characters that featured in what US sitcom?
UEA Yates.
Cheers.
It is Cheers. Your bonus questions then, UEA, are 3 questions on a theme in video games. Which series of role-playing games posits that an ancient spacefaring people called the Protheans observed and cultivated humanity at a primitive stage of development? The main series narrative centres on elite space soldier Commander Shepard.
Mass Effect.
It is Mass Effect. Second, in which game of 2019 does the player control interplanetary archaeologist Alia as she searches for information about a precursor people referred to as the Ancients? Gameplay largely consists of learning to translate their hieroglyphic language.
Any ideas? Stellaris.
No, it's Heaven's Vault. Finally, believing themselves custodians of the galaxy, the Forerunners are a technologically advanced ancient civilization in which series of first-person shooters developed by Bungie. The first game in the series was a launch title for the Xbox.
Halo.
That is Halo. Now, the starter question there. Developed from an empirical analysis of Major League Baseball, what is the popular name of the sabermetric statistical method made famous?
Strathclyde Galt.
Moneyball.
It is Moneyball. Yes, correct. Your bonuses, Strathclyde, are on the names of amino acids. In each case, name the amino acid from the description. First, denoted by the single letter N for November, the amino acid whose name derives from the vegetable from which it was originally isolated.
Asparagine.
Okay, nominate Reid.
Asparagine.
Correct. Secondly, taking its name from the Greek word for cheese, this amino acid was isolated initially from the protein casein.
Oh, it's tyrosine.
Tyrosine.
Correct. Finally, the simplest of the 20 protein-forming amino acids, its name derives from the Greek for sweet tasting.
Go for that.
Thymine.
No, it's glycine. We're going to have a picture starter here. You're going to see a diagram of the functional unit of an organ of the human body. For 10 points, name the organ that contains it.
UEA Tobin.
Kidneys.
It is the kidney, yeah. For your picture starter, UEA, you saw a diagram of a nephron, the functional unit of a kidney. For your picture bonuses, you're going to need to identify 3 of its sub-units, 5 points for each you can name. Firstly, the 2-word name of the part at A.
Is that the Malphidian tubule?
If you say it is.
Unless you have a
I think it
idea.
is a tubule, but I don't know.
Do you have any other words that it could
No.
be? Okay, do you want to nominate me?
Yeah, nominate Yates.
Malphidian tubule?
No, that's the collecting duct. Second, the 2 indicated by B.
Are those loops of Henley?
No, there's only one loop of Henley, that's C. No, wait, it might be the loop of
Oh
Henley.
no, that's the loop of C's loop of Henley, isn't
Yeah.
it? Is
Yeah,
it just
but-
the duct? I don't know.
Come on.
The loop of Henley.
No, that was the convoluted tubule. And finally, the section shown at C.
Okay. So
That's the loop of Henley.
Is it loop of Henley or descending tubule?
I'm pretty sure that's
Okay,
because it's the loop.
descending. Okay, loop of Henley.
It is the loop of Henley. Got there in the end. Another starter question then. What 3-word Latin term for a narrative technique originates in Horace's Ars Poetica, where he praises Homer for beginning the Iliad not ab ovo, or from the egg of Leda, but
UEA Jennings.
In res media.
Yes, I'll accept that. It should have been in medias res, but we'll take that. Your bonuses then, UEA, are 3 questions on historical navigation. First, the Chinese explorer and Admiral Zheng He lived during which dynasty? He commanded 7 exploratory voyages around Southeast Asia and the Red Sea, expanding China's reach in both trade and diplomacy.
This is in Far Cry 3, and I think it's Tang.
You think?
I think it's Tang.
Okay, do you know what roughly year that is, and we can.
No,
Okay,
but
can just try.
Tang.
No, it's the Ming dynasty. Second, after an archaeological site in New Caledonia, what 6-letter name is given to the seafaring people believed to be the first human settlers of Melanesia, much of Polynesia and some of Micronesia? They are evidenced principally by the remains of their distinctive fired pottery.
Oh, nominate Shiras.
Lapita.
Correct. Finally, known for his exploration of the west coast of Africa around the 5th century BCE, Hanno the Navigator was a naval explorer from what ancient empire?
It could be the Phoenicians.
Where did he say it was? West Africa?
West Africa.
Phoenicians were kind of more sort of. I don't know if they got that far. It could be
Fifth century.
Carthaginian or Greek, maybe?
Greek.
No, it's Carthaginian. Another starter question now. I need the name of a molecule here. The French biochemists François Jacob and Jacques Monod are best known for their work on a cluster of bacterial genes, or operon, regulating the metabolism of what disaccharide of primarily animal origin?
UEA Yates.
Lactose.
Correct, it is lactose. Your bonus questions, UEA, are on the US patriot Paul Revere. Listen, my children, and you shall hear of the midnight ride of Paul Revere. These are the opening lines of an 1860 work by which US poet?
1860 US pounds.
Is that too late for Poe?
Yeah, it's too
Yeah,
late.
it is too late.
Actually, Washington Irving wasn't a poet, was he?
Walt Whitman?
Dickinson?
Walt Whitman?
What day?
Walt Whitman? Walt Whitman.
No, it's Longfellow. Notable for its stylised buildings and high perspective, The Midnight Ride of Paul Revere is a 1931 painting by which leading exponent of American regionalism?
Any US painters from that time? Just give me
Copley.
one. Copley.
No, it's Grant Wood. Finally, Paul Revere is a 1986 single by which hip-hop group? It appeared on their debut album, Licensed to Ill.
Beastie Boys.
It is the Beastie Boys. Glad you got that one at least. Your starter question then. This is a quote. While the guns rumbled in the distance, we sang, painted, made collages and wrote poems with all our might. These words of the artist Hans Arp refer to which art movement founded in Zurich in reaction to the First World War?
UEA Charest.
Dada.
It is Dada, yes. Your bonus questions, UEA, are on commanders of the International Space Station, or ISS. First, who has been the only Briton to have served on both the Russian Mir space station and the ISS, assuming a 6-month command of the latter in 2003? 8 years earlier, he had been the first British astronaut to perform a spacewalk.
It's not Tim Peake, because that's
that's
too
far too
recent.
late.
Do you know any British astronauts?
No idea. No.
Yeah. Pass.
It's Michael Foale. Second, September 2022 saw which Italian become the first European woman to command the International Space Station?
I don't know
Give me an
any
Italian name. Locatelli.
Random Italian names aren't going to cut it. No, that's Samantha Cristoforetti. Finally, having once had to break into Mir with a Swiss Army knife because of a too tightly sealed hatch, which Canadian was ISS commander in 2013? He became a social media sensation with his rendition of David Bowie's Space Oddity.
It's the moustache guy.
Yeah,
I know
don't
what he
know
looks
as
like, but I
well.
don't know
Is it
his name.
Chris Hadfield? No, that's not, is it?
It's the best guess we've got. Chris Hatfield, did you
Yeah,
say?
I don't know.
Chris Hatfield?
I'll accept that, yes, Hadfield, yes. Your starter question then. What short adjective links all of these? The US rock band who released the 1976 single Don't Fear the Reaper.
UEA Tobin.
Cult.
No, I'm afraid you lose 5 points. The best-selling 12-inch single of all time, released in 1983 on Factory Records. And
Strathclyde Gold.
Blue.
Blue is correct. Colt isn't actually an adjective. Your bonuses then are on shipping forecast areas named at the end of Carol Ann Duffy's poem Prayer. In each case, name the sea area from the description. First, a sea area to the west of the Hebrides and the south of Bailey. It takes its name from an isolated granite protrusion in the North Atlantic.
Is that Bishop's Rock? Bishop's Rock?
Go for it. Nominate McDowell.
Bishop's Rock?
No, it's Rockall. Secondly, the sea area to the south of Hebrides. This area takes its name from the most northerly point of mainland Ireland.
Donegal.
No, there was a point. Was it Marne? Marne? Is that the furthest north bit?
Go for it.
Can't think.
Man.
No, sorry, that's not close enough. It's Malin. Finally, the area between Forties and Humber, named after a large isolated shoal in the North Sea. I need only a single word.
Dogger.
Dogger.
Yes, correct. For your music starter then, you're going to hear a piece of popular music. For 10 points, name the band performing.
UEA Tobin.
Oh, the Buggles.
Of course it is. It's Video Kill the Radio Star. For your music start, you heard Video Kill the Radio Star by the Buggles. Their frontman, Trevor Horn, later had a successful career as a producer, winning 3 Brit Awards. For your music bonuses, you're going to hear 3 tracks that he produced. For 5 points each, name the band or artist performing. First, this singer.
Nominate Jennings.
Grace Jones.
Of course it's Grace Jones. Yeah, you've got to get that. Secondly, this group.
Bell and Sebastian. Yeah, Bell and Sebastian.
It is. And finally,
Frankie Goes to Hollywood.
Frankie Goes to Hollywood.
it is Frankie Goes to Hollywood. Another starter question then. Speculated to have been inspired by the elephant skulls on the island of Crete on account of their large nasal cavities. What race of mythological creatures?
UEA Yates.
Cyclops.
Cyclops is correct. Your bonus questions, UEA, are on UK general elections since 1970. In each case, name the year of the election, given the number of seats won by the leading parties? First, Labour 301, Conservatives 297 and Liberals 14.
So what? 75?
No, 74.
74. Okay, 1974.
Correct. There was 2 elections in that year. That was the first one. Second, Conservatives 397, Labour 209 and the Liberal SDP alliance 23 seats.
1985. 1985.
No, it was 83. Finally, Labour 418, Conservatives 165 and Liberal Democrats 46.
1997.
That was the Blair landslide, yes. Another starter question then. The trigonometric identity sine squared theta plus cos squared theta equals 1 often bears the name of which ancient mathematician, as it follows directly from the fundamental relation between the sides of a right-angled triangle?
UEA Yates.
Pythagoras.
Pythagoras is correct. Your bonuses then, UEA, are on fonts and typefaces. Developed in 1957, originally as Neue Haas Grotesque, which sans serif font was featured as an exhibit in MoMA for its 50th anniversary. It was the system typeface for Apple until 2015 and was the inspiration for the initial Windows default font, Arial.
Could be Calabri. I know that's one. Is it Calabri or Calabri? Yeah.
Calibri is a
Calibri.
font, but
Yeah. What did you say?
I was going to say Helvetica, but that's got serifs, I think.
Okay, go
Okay.
Calibri sounds nice.
Calibri.
Should have gone with Helvetica. Second, created in Birmingham in the 1750s by an eponymous type designer, which serif font is a leading example of the transitional typeface, a bridge between old style and modern type design?
Times New Roman. That's what I was
Makes sense,
thinking. Yeah. Times New Roman.
No, it's Baskerville. Finally, created in 1994 and inspired by the font used in the graphic novels The Watchmen and The Dark Knight Rises, which font was introduced with Windows 95 and has regularly been the subject of criticism and ridicule?
Comic Sans. Comic Sans.
It is Comic Sans, yes. Plenty of time Strathclyde, so you can get going with this one. Ulubek's Observatory and the avenue of mausoleums known as Shah-e-Zinda are among noted sites in which Central Asian city? It was the capital of the Timurid Empire and is now one of the large...
Strathclyde McDowell.
Samarkand?
It is Samarkand, yes. Your bonuses then are questions on novels set wholly or partly in hospitals, Strathclyde. First, which novel by Thomas Mann is set in a tuberculosis sanatorium in Switzerland? It centres on young engineer Hans Kastorp, who comes to visit his cousin and ends up staying for 7 years.
I don't know.
I have no idea.
No idea. Pass.
The Magic Mountain. Second, in which early novel by Samuel Beckett does the title character take a job as a nurse at the Magdalen Mental Mercy Seat, where he finds himself drawn to a patient named Mr. Endon, fascinated by his limpid and imperturbable psychosis?
Don't know either.
Any guesses?
No. Not Horton Beckett, no. Pass.
That's Murphy from 1938. Finally, often read as a political allegory, Cancer Ward is a 1968 novel by which Russian Nobel laureate? It draws on his own experiences of hospitalisation in Tashkent following his release from a forced labour camp.
Maybe Solzhenitsyn.
Could be.
Solzhenitsyn.
It is Solzhenitsyn, yes. Let's start the question. Meaning bread in Hindi, what short word is used across South Asia and the Caribbean to refer to a number of varieties of unleavened flatbread used for...
Strathclyde McDowell.
Roti?
It is roti, yeah. Your bonuses, Strathclyde, are on animals in Japanese poetry, specifically those used by convention to indicate a particular season of the year. First, a seasonal word of spring. What bird is the hibari, noted for its songs performed in flight? The Eurasian species of this bird has the binomial Aloda arvensis, and it is the subject of poems by Shelley and Wordsworth.
Is it like a nightingale or like a liver bird or something?
Could be Nightingale, because that's kind of poetic. Nightingale.
No, skylark. Second, a symbol of summer. The semi is what winged chirping insect of the order Hemiptera. They are unrelated to crickets and grasshoppers.
Is that a cicada?
Could be.
Cicada?
Correct. Finally, used to indicate autumn, what stocky game bird is the Uzura or Corturnix japonica? Smaller than a partridge or pheasant, its eggs may be used in sushi.
Quail?
Well, it could be a quail.
It is quail. Another starter question. Prior to the 1832 Reform Act, what two-word term referred to a constituency that had a small number of registered...
Strathclyde McDowell.
Rottenborough?
Correct. Your bonuses, Strathclyde, are on works produced by the US jazz producer and impresario Bob Thieler. First of all, Thieler produced which landmark 1964 John Coltrane album? Its liner notes state that it is an attempt to say thank you, God, through our work, even as we do in our hearts, and with our tongues?
What would it be?
I only know Live Supreme.
What's the one that's something blue? Is it like Cool Blue
No,
or
it's
something?
Miles
like that?
Davis.
Oh, okay.
Live Supreme.
Love Supreme. Love Supreme.
It is a Love Supreme. Second, which 1966 album did saxophonist Sonny Rollins record as a soundtrack for a British film of the same name? The film starred Michael Caine as the eponymous self-centred fourth wall-breaking womaniser.
The Italian Job.
Could be. Yeah. I'm not sure it breaks the fourth wall, but it's a
No,
womaniser, isn't it?
He is a womaniser.
What do you say?
The Italian Job.
No, no, it tells you. I watched this the other day.
That Chris File.
Come on.
Italian Job.
Italian Job.
No, that's Alfie. Known as the godfather of rap for his spoken word style, whose album Pieces of a Man was produced by Thela. One of its best-known tracks is The Revolution Will Not Be Televised.
That is. Oh, think of it a proper.
If you don't know, go MF Doom.
MF Doom.
Skill Scott Heron. Picture round now. Before your picture starter, you'll see a still from a film. For 10 points, please name the director.
UEA Charette.
Lang.
It is Fritz Lang, yes. Well, that was, of course, a still from the film Metropolis, directed by Fritz Lang, which was restored to its original version in 2008 after missing segments were found in an archive in Argentina. Your bonuses, then, UEA, are on 3 further films that were believed lost and have since been rediscovered. Firstly, I want you to name the director of this film, the colour version of which was rediscovered in 2002.
That's Méliès. Georges Méliès.
Nominate Charette.
Méliès.
It is, correct. Second, I want the figure named in the title of this 1928 film, the original print of which was rediscovered in 1981.
Joan of Arc.
Joan of Arc.
Correct. Finally, I want you to name the performer in this still from a film of 1919, rediscovered in 2014.
That's Harry Houdini.
Okay. Harry Houdini.
It is Harry Houdini, yes. Now the starter question. In the first stanza of W.B. Yeats's poem, The Second Coming, what 3 words precede the centre cannot hold and were used by the Nigerian author...
Strathclyde Galt.
Things fall apart.
Things do fall apart, yeah. Turning and turning. And so on. Your bonuses then, Strathclyde, are on the small number of footballers who have been named honorary captain of the German national team by the German FA. Name each player from the description. First, born in 1983, a fullback who spent almost his entire career with Bayern Munich, winning 8 Bundesliga titles, 6 DFB Cups.
Philip Lahm.
Correct. Secondly, born in 1964, a centre-forward whose clubs include Stuttgart, Inter Milan, Monaco and Tottenham Hotspur. He was a member of the team that won a 3rd World Cup.
Jürgen Klinsmann.
Correct. Finally, born in 1945, another captain of Bayern Munich, who in the 1970s led the club to 3 consecutive European Cups. He's won the World Cup both as a player in 1974 and a manager in 1990.
Franz Beckenbauer.
It is Beckenbauer. Another starter question then. The Little Curie was the nickname given to a mobile battlefield unit developed by Marie Curie during the First World War to perform what type of...
UEA Tobin.
X-rays.
It is the X-ray, yes. Your bonus questions then, UEA, are on autumn celebrations around the world. First, a 2008 UNESCO inscription cites which Latin American country as the location of the Day of the Dead, celebrated by indigenous peoples to honour family...
Mexico.
Correct. Second, which country celebrates Chuseok, or the Harvest Moon Festival, to commemorate the autumn harvest and honour ancestors? People wear traditional clothing known as hanbok and eat rice cakes known as...
South Korea.
South Korea, yeah. The Yam Festival is an important celebration for the Awe people in which West African country that gained its independence from the UK?
Ghana.
Correct. Let's start the question now. Give the precise 3 words that complete the usual English translation of this quotation that opens Book 2 of The Second Sex by Simone de Beauvoir. One is not born, but rather what?
UEA Jennings.
Becomes a woman.
Correct. Your bonus questions, UEA, are on history. First, the messianic myth of Sebastianism was a pervasive belief in a once and future king of which country? King Sebastian's body was not found after he lost the Battle of 3 Kings in 1578.
3 Kings.
3 Kings. Could be like Bohemia or something like that.
Something Central Europe. Go with that.
Bohemia?
That's Portugal. The 3 Kings is the 1578 battle where Sebastian and the deposed and current rulers of which present-day country? Sebastian had launched his disastrous invasion in an attempt to subject it to Christian rule.
Spain.
No, it's Morocco. Finally, which ruler had tried to deter his nephew Sebastian from military action in Morocco? He acceded to the throne of Portugal in 1580.
you know any Portuguese kings?
Fernando II, but don't make it up.
Fernando II.
No, it's Philip II of Spain. Another starter question. Still got time for this, Strathclyde. From the 3rd century CE, Ripuarian and Salian were branches of what group of Germanic-speaking peoples? They later founded the kingdoms of Neustria and Austrasia, both ruled by members of the Merovingian dynasty.
Strathclyde MacDowell.
Vandal.
No.
UEA Jennings.
Franks.
Franks is correct. Your bonuses, UEA, are questions on interpretations of quantum mechanics. John Clauser, Anton Zeilinger and Alain Aspect won the 2022 Nobel Prize in Physics for their experimental work testing which theorem? It rules out deterministic interpretations of quantum physics, which rely on hidden variables that also obey the speed of light.
Bell's theorem.
Nominate Jennings.
Bell's theorem.
Correct. A hidden variable interpretation not ruled out by Bell's inequality is the pilot wave interpretation. This is usually named after two physicists, David Bohm and which French physicist who first put forward the idea of wave-particle duality?
Nominate Jennings.
De Broglie.
Correct. First put forward by the physicist Hugh Everett in 1957, which interpretation makes quantum mechanics deterministic by creating a new reality for each possible outcome of a quantum mechanical process?
Nominate Jennings.
The many worlds interpretation.
Yes, that's correct. Another starter question. The families Lolliginidae and Oma Strephidae include the principal edible species of what cephalopod, the common name of which appears within the title of a dystopian Netflix series created by...
UEA Tobin.
Squid.
Correct. Your bonuses, UEA, are on British hills designated as Marilyns. That is, they are peaks with a prominence of over 150 metres. First, the most easterly Marilyn in Britain, Detling Hill, has a prominence of 163 metres and an elevation of 200 metres. It forms part of the North Downs in which English county?
Are they not in Wales?
No, it's
Eastleigh, yeah, I'm in the wrong
Come on.
Essex.
No, it's Kent. Saxa Voord is a 284-metre-high Marilyn located on what island? With a population of around 600 people, it is the northernmost inhabited island in the UK.
It's most of Shetland, isn't it?
Shetland?
No, it's Unst. Brown Willy is the highest point in Cornwall. On which moor is it located?
Dartmoor?
Dartmoor?
No, it's Bodmin. Another starter question. Patrice Cullors, author of the 2018 memoir When They Call You a Terrorist, is the originator of what prominent phrase associated with social justice, originally tweeted as a hashtag in 2013?
UEA Yates.
Black Lives Matter?
It is Black Lives Matter. Your bonus questions are at the gong. Strathclyde University have 125 and UEA have 235. Bad luck, guys. Just never quite got going, did it? Despite the extreme knowledge of German football. Perhaps if that had popped up a little bit earlier, or we'd had double the questions on engineering. But did you have a good time? You enjoy yourselves?
Great, aye.
UEA, that was a phenomenal performance. Did you enjoy yourselves?
Yes, very much so.
Thank you.
I hope you can join us next time for another first-round match. But until then, it's goodbye from the University of Strathclyde.
Bye.
It's goodbye from the UEA.
Goodbye.
And it's goodbye from me. Goodbye.